all of you. This is my first interaction with the foreign media. We were looking forward to meet all of you. And I won't keep the formal talk at length, just briefly, that we are here to assist the electoral process. And while doing that constitutional obligation of ours, we have to be focusing on day-to-day activities of the government, which is related to the economic woes and the security challenges both. So with this background, I'll open the floor straight away for question and answer. I think so we should go for that format.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister.
Thank you.
You've taken charge in the midst of a major economic crisis, and it's evident on a daily basis on a range of fronts. My question is, what can you tell us about rolling back the legacy of the previous government, which seems to have fueled part of this problem? And secondly, put Pakistan in a kind of an emergency mode, which is to begin dealing with this crisis. In other words, a national economic emergency of the kind that we haven't seen before.
Thank you so much. First of all, let me clarify, we are not here to redesign the government. We are here that whatever constitutional mandate has been given to us, for instance, we have got a budget which has parliamentary approval. So we are not above the parliament to alter that. So within that budgetary allocation, we are trying to attempt and focus and rearrange whatever space is available to us on fiscal policy, on monetary policy. One of the area for which we already have got legislative and statutory force behind us is the initiative of SIFC. And SIFC is somewhere where the economic revival of 24 million people's future lie. It's agriculture, in IT, in mines and minerals. So we are trying not just to showcase that, but also focus on its secretariat, try to provide the basis for any future government, which probably would be here in a few months, and give them those bases on which they can build that economic edifice which is required to run a healthy economy for the country. At the same time, there are badly structural reforms required which should address the economic woes of the country. The reformation of our land revenue, of FPR, in the manner our power sector is operating. So these are two major areas where our focus is. And again, we are not trying to create goalposts which are beyond the time span and beyond our mandate also. What we are trying to do over here is to provide some basis for the mid-level reforms, which definitely would be upon the future government to either take it or refute it.
What can you tell us about these economic initiatives which are essentially key to Pakistan, stabilizing Pakistan's financial situation? And I mean concrete steps. Is your government considering actively acting on moving forward the privatization list and these investments and all in the few months that you're here? And do we have a time frame for that?
Yes, of course. For instance, in the power sector, there are a couple of discos which are on the list. And by the way, there is a broader agreement in different sections of Pakistani governance structure that certain organizations and outfits needs to be privatized. This is one. We may achieve one or two goals to do it or realize it within these 6 months. what we are trying to do over here is that we will start the ball rolling. We'll initiate that process, and the initiation of that process would be demonstrated by one or two privatization acts being realized completely, focusing and bringing more attention on the power sector. And there could be few others outside the power sectors as well. As far as the other initiatives are concerned, we are looking forward that at least one or two major areas in mines and minerals, we may realize some FDIs in that sector. And that is another area which would send a positive sentiment into the market.
My question goes to the elections. I know that the ECP is the one responsible for giving us a date for whenever the elections are going to happen. Are you confident that your caretaker government is going to be here just for the 6 months that you mentioned?
I have not even mentioned 6 months. But anyways.
Just say 6 months in your...
No, it could be.
Okay.
Or less than that.
But you're confident that things will be on time and the limitations, etc., will be done as per the schedule put out by the ECP, and you're not concerned that things will perhaps move forward?
Well, the Constitution needs to be looked holistically. You cannot do cherry picking in Constitution. And when I say holistically, all the questions raised in your question or the aspects of your question, the shades, they all are answered within Constitution. Do you, after having census, is it a requirement to do delimitation? Yes, it is. Does that delimitation has to be done by the Election Commission of Pakistan? Of course, it has to be done. For how long does that exercise take? It is anybody's guess, but I am pretty much confident that it would be within the reasonable framework of time. Could be 1 month, 1.5 months, 45 days. I cannot be prescient about the time frame that it has to be exact in terms of hours and seconds. But yes, I do have an approximate sense, and I'm quite sure and comfortable that it would appear and it would look and it would happen in a relatively normal frame of time.
As a follow-up question, when do you anticipate we will find out whether the PTI will be able to run in those elections? And what are your considerations about the importance of allowing them to run or not to run?
I don't have any sort of confusion or qualms on any political party, including PTI, that they would be part of the electoral process. They are registered political party with the Election Commission of Pakistan. They are constitutionally entitled to field their candidatures in different constituencies. Just like any other political party. I'm even surprised that even this question of them participating in the electoral process, why does it arise? No one has stopping any political party from participating in a normal constitutional political process.
What can be done? What would you like to see done on this, particularly in terms of Pakistan, Afghanistan?
Are you more focused on what we're going to do on counter-terrorism, yes, or Afghanistan-Pakistan relations?
Well, I mean, it's related because Pakistan is saying, as I understand it, that much of the problem is based in Afghanistan, and these guys are sort of operating from Afghanistan into Pakistan.
First of all, I think so we should focus and try to appreciate what is going on our western borders. And this surge in attacks of terrorist outfits, either be religious-inspired attacks or even ethnic-inspired attacks, like the form of BLA and BLF and the rest of their associates. One thing which is very important, which has changed the entire landscape, the security landscape of this region, is The leftover gadgets by US and its allies in Afghanistan, which has implications not just for Pakistan, but for the whole region. And very reliable and authentic journalistic literature has been already produced on it. It's not just what Pakistan is saying. It's the literature has been published even in magazines like Foreign Policy and few others. But we do believe this is a challenge which probably was not well thought of. And this is a challenge which needs to be responded. And this is a challenge where we, along with our international partners against the terrorism, need to coordinate, cooperate, and work together. And I believe that in initial briefings to me from the security side, my understanding is that we are already working on that with our partners, be it United States and others, European Union, UK, and the rest of the powers. And this is a problem which has been recognized by anyone and everyone. And these surges are primarily happening because the fighting capacity of these outfits has been enhanced. They are emerging as a new challenge. Pakistan is in the forefront to take this brunt. We have been arguing this for years and years and years when we were accused by our own partners that we are probably having a sort of a double role, or we are not the willing partnership in this so-called war on terror. But we could foresee that a time will come that all these powers will leave this region and it would be us who would be facing the mess. And this is what is exactly happening to us. It has happened to us in 1989. It has happened to us again in 2021. Do we surrender? Do we just leave it as a fait accompli? No. We are planning, we are executing on our own resources. We would reform, when I say we would reform our tax system, it is for the reason we cannot rely on financial assistance to take on our security challenges. We have to raise our own money. And we are doing that. And then spend that money on an area where we can keep our population secure, which is one of the prime responsibility constitutionally of any government. So would we deny the partnership, help and assistance if it is available at a global scale? No, we will not deny that assistance or help. But it should be in the right context, it should be with the right intentions, and we should be viewed as a responsible government which is one against terrorism, which is against radicalization, and which envisions a moderate and inclusive Pakistan.